Hi guys, so today is Thursday, January 28th, and our goal is that you can write an introduction with a thesis statement to write a biography. So let's think about what a thesis statement is. We have talked about how there is this one sentence at the end of your introduction that kind of reviews what your body paragraphs will be. So if I'm talking about the early life of a person, plus why they became famous and how they're later in their lives how they lived. So I can, if those are the main focuses of my body paragraphs, then I need to make sure that my thesis statement addresses these three. Now, to make a really good thesis statement, you shall not use the words I will talk about. Okay. Or in the next paragraphs, you will learn they already know that, okay? So let's try to avoid using sentence starters like that. Instead, you can say something, again, focusing about the attributes of the person, the early life, the reason why they became famous, and the later life of this person, of Rosa Parks, because that's my person, um, are intriguing, interesting, and life changing for millions of people. That right there makes a really good statement because you are going to talk about the impact that that person had in the world. In my case, Rosa Parks did change the world for many here in the United States and even around the world. So you have to focus on a thesis statement that makes a strong, powerful statement. Uh, so you want to make sure that your statement goes beyond the I will tell you about, because you know what? By reading, I know what you're going to tell me about. I know you're going to tell me about Rosa Parks or the person that you have. So there's no need to tell me what you're going to talk about because the title of your paper tells me what you will write about. So make sure that your thesis statement introduces your three body paragraphs and emphasizes probably the attributes of this person, such as courage, love, um, fearless, all these attributes that could be um, descriptors of how this person is and how she or he was during his or her life. Okay. Then, before that thesis statement, we need to have kind of an introduction of the person. So, to make that even better, we kind of have talked about this in the past. We start with a really general statement. That's what we want to make sure that we have a general statement to start it with. So, you can say something, again, I have Rosa Parks, so I can say, sitting on a bus all alone, I wonder how she felt. Rosa Parks decided to not stand, and that took courage. So I went from a really broad statement of sitting by herself. Then I introduced Rosa Parks. Then I can use that thesis statement that I share with you. So an introduction does not need to be long, but it needs to be concrete. You can also use the early life of the person to introduce as your introduction. But again, you have to have a thesis statement. So if you go back to your notes of the early life, you can say Rosa Parks was born on this in blank, Alabama, born of, you can name mom and dad. She grew up to be a great hero in the eyes of others. Now we're going to talk about how she will be a great hero in the eyes of others. So make sure that you're introducing, you can use that early life background to introduce the person, or you can start with a general statement and then look at the attributes of the person, and that kind of leads into your thesis statement. Please take the time to watch the video here. This video actually shows you how to write an introduction using the early life of a person, so that's very important. Now, when you look at slide 10, so now we have to look at slide 10 in your daily slides. Make a list of things that you should include in your introduction. So if I'm talking about Rosa Parks, I definitely want to use her early life to kind of give me an introduction. So I can go back to my notes actually and look at the early life notes and just use all of these. So those are things that I would probably want to use. Then once I have a list of things I want to use, then I can start writing the introduction right here at the bottom. So that's your job for today, to write an introduction. We want to make sure that it's a powerful introduction, that we have a thesis statement that produces a thought on how your body paragraphs will go like. Remember, you don't have to have 3 body paragraphs. You can have 2, or you can have 4 or 5. That's okay. Your paragraphs might just be smaller, but you have multiples because there is different times in the life of the person that you want to address. So if there are multiple topics, that's okay, but we want to make sure that we have a powerful introduction.